pleasure of introducing Carmen Shawn, a mindful holistic health expert and a trailblazer at our Oakville branch. Carmen is a certified health coach and movement specialist with 27 years experience in the health and fitness industry. She's the owner and operator of Carmen Shaw Health and Fitness and certified through the Health Coach Institute, the International Sports Science Association, and Precision Nutrition. As a health coach, she's shown women how to feel fabulous again, helping them create more energy and get rid of the stubborn fat so they can love what they see in the mirror. All without crazy diets and a ton of supplements. I would love you to welcome with me Carmen Shawn to the stage. Thank you.
All right, ladies, let's get up. Let's go. Come on. Get up off that thing. The energy in here is so awesome. I am so excited and honored to be here today to talk to you about the Inspired Method. I had a lovely introduction, and I just want to kind of give you more of a background. So I'm a holistic living coach or health coach. As she mentioned, I have 27 years experience in the health and fitness industry. I started when I was around 10 or so. When I started in the industry, it was back in the day where we had aerobics classes. It wasn't group fitness, it was aerobics back then. We had the grapevine, you know, all that great stuff. And it was all about diet and exercise. That was it. And as a personal trainer and fitness expert, we were actually trained to focus just on diet and exercise. So I've had clients come to me and their goals were weight loss, want to reduce the size of their waist, the size of their thighs, they want to look better. So that's what I did. And they would reach their goals, off they go, they're happy, they're where they want to be. And the next thing you know, I see them again a year later. And their head's kind of hanging low and they're like, Carmen, I don't know what happened, I'm so embarrassed. I feel like I failed because I'm back where I started and I feel worse. But again, I was taught diet and exercise. So here we go again. I put them through the same cycle. And I would keep seeing them. It was lovely to see them again. But that was what we were taught, so that's what we did. And then I became a fitness competitor. So that's in the sport of bodybuilding. I wasn't a bodybuilder, and I think that's quite obvious by looking at me that I was not a bodybuilder. But I was in that sport. And I did that for 11 years. I did about 12 competitions, I think. So I became my client. I became a chronic dieter. I was working out 2 to 3 times a day. And I had a deadline. So I had a date. And I had to be ready by that date. So my preps could last anywhere from 3 months to 6 months, and that's on a very restrictive diet. That is me working out all the time. And when I first started in that sport, it was because I wanted a challenge. I wanted to be pushed past my limits. I wanted to increase my confidence. I was terrible at standing in front of a group of people, and look where I am now. It's awesome, isn't it? But I did it for that reason. It wasn't to lose weight, it wasn't for that. But then I noticed after every competition, I was like, I'm not feeling that great about how I look when I come off the competition. I would put on a few pounds and I would dislike what I saw in the mirror. And if I said that in front of other women based on where I was, they'd want to punch me in the face, right? So, but that's what happened from this chronic dieting and this change. So my goal of doing it for a challenge became, I got to do another one because I want that look back. So I would keep doing them. 11 years goes by, and I finally got to the point where I was like, oh my goodness, like I am 46 years old and I feel terrible. I feel terrible. I have created body dysmorphia. I don't like what I see in the mirror. I had adrenal fatigue. My hormones were a mess. My digestion was terrible. I just didn't feel comfortable in my body. I felt so lost. And when I shared that story with other women, even though mine is a little extreme, a lot of women felt the same. They felt lost in their bodies. They didn't really know what to do. We're all so tired of dieting. It's like, please give me a solution, but we don't really know any other solution. When somebody tells you you need to get healthy, you automatically go to the diet. And diets don't work. They don't work. They really don't work. Especially as we're aging, we need more TLC. What worked when we were 20, 30 isn't gonna work when we're 40, 50, 60, and we need to embrace that, and we need to do what makes us feel good. So what happens is our lives start controlling our health, but it should be that our health is the driving force for our life. And that is why we always end up back where we started. There's deadlines. You have a deadline. I'm going to get ready for a wedding. I'm going to get ready for my trip. I'm turning 35. I want to look great. And then next thing you know, you're 32 or 35 in a day, and you're right back to where you were, right? There's two types of people. There's someone like me, the chronic dieter that was always going for a look, and always wanted that quick fix for whatever reason it might be. Or you have the people that are really fearful of changing, because we get really good at being where we are. We get conditioned to our current state, and we're pros at it. We're good at it, so we don't want to let go of that. But a lot of it is fear of failure. What if I start this and it doesn't work? What if I start working on my health and nothing happens? So there's a lot of fear there. And when it comes to our bodies, failure when it comes to our bodies is really scary. No one wants to admit that. No one wants to even admit they need help sometimes. So my goal is to actually help women become ageless. And I'm a firm believer that age is not a reason to let yourself go, in the sense, and I don't mean a look, I mean your health. We kind of get conditioned. I mean, life gets busy, right? As moms, as entrepreneurs, or business women, life gets busy, and then we forget about ourselves. And then all of a sudden one day you look in the mirror, and this is what I did, and I'm in the industry, I should know better, but I'm human. So I looked at just like in the mirror and thought, I don't even know who the hell I am. I don't even recognize myself, and I don't even mean just by how I look. I did not feel right. I just did not feel right. So I want women to love themselves enough to live healthy and to embrace their shape, but become the best version of that shape. And that doesn't necessarily mean a look, because I'm a firm believer, if you focus on a feeling, everything will just fall into place where it needs to be. And to do that, you need inspiration. You absolutely need inspiration. And with that inspiration, you can create your best life, especially when it comes to your health. External inspiration is so amazing. Like, I look at you guys and you all inspire me. The ladies at the Oakville branch, they inspire me, and that's why I go. And that creates action, right? So you get up, you think, wow, I can do this. These women are doing it, I can do this. But that only takes you so far, right? In order to follow through and actually reach your goal, you have to start creating internal inspiration. You have to find that why, that solid inspirational why to your goals. And when it comes to our careers and our jobs, money is a huge motivator. Huge, let's face it, right? So we will spend thousands and thousands of dollars in developing our careers, going to school, doing all that stuff so we can make money. But when it comes to our health, we don't do the same, and that's because we don't have a big enough inspired why. So you have to kind of take a step back and ask yourself, do you have energy, or are you lacking energy? What's your stress levels like? What's your digestion like? Are you sleeping? Do you have a hormone imbalance? Like, where are your hormones at? And you'll feel that, trust me. You might not if you're 20, but you'll feel it eventually. Trust me. I'm 48 now, so 2 years from the big 5-0, and I'm embracing every day of it now. So if you don't feel right, then change that. Don't worry about what you look like. First and foremost, start changing and working on that feeling, and then eventually everything just kind of falls into place. So those great outcomes that you probably want, like weight loss, maybe some fat loss, you know, all those little great things, that will just come, and your body will end up where it needs to be. So where do you want to be in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? Our future health is important. And if we don't start looking at where we want to be and how we want to feel in 10 years, we're not going to work on that. And trust me, it doesn't matter how old you are, 26 or 36, when you wake up the next morning, you're a day older. And then a week goes by, a month goes by, a year goes by, and you're still not working towards what you want to feel in 10 years. Every single one of us in here has something great and unique to offer the world. And I honestly, which is my goal, is to help women find that greatness and uniqueness and let that shine through in their health. Because I don't know if you've ever met somebody that just, like, as soon as you see them, you're just like, that is the definition of vitality right there. You're thinking, wow, like, this woman is amazing. She's just got this energy, and that's health. That's coming from inside. And if you're not healthy, if you're not feeling right, it will come out in your exterior in some way. And it doesn't mean your look. It can be how you feel, like how you're portraying your feelings towards yourself outwards, and people can sense that. So these are some pretty incredible stats. So an estimated 108 million North Americans are on a restrictive diet, and an unbelievable 98% of those on a diet will gain weight back within a year. And this is why I'm anti-diet, why I don't diet anymore. So I went from dieting for 11 years to not doing it anymore, and trust me, that was very hard to do. That was a big step for me because I had to let go of that, and I didn't trust myself, which is terrible. So what I had to start doing is really figuring out why I kept slipping, or why I always wanted to be in that diet mode, and why my clients were there. And I discovered it's because they aren't creating an inspired why. They don't have an inspired why. It's all about weight loss. So first and foremost, what I do is get them doing desired state goal setting. And with that, I get them to dig deep. So if they say to me their goal is weight loss, and they can't, and in all honesty, most people will say weight loss and they can't get past that. I'll ask them, is there anything else? No, weight loss. That's their goal. So instead of just rolling with that now, I ask them, okay, what will that do for you? What will that weight loss do for you? And once you know what that'll do for you, then what will that give your life? What will that bring to your life by having that? And I keep going, I keep digging until I find their why, and then they end up sitting there going, whoa, yeah, you're right. It's not just about that weight loss. You don't just want to lose weight. There is a very good reason that you want to work on your health, and you need to discover that why. So we're going to get into inspired eating. So this is something, and this is why I developed the inspired method, because I really, really wanted something to help women understand that eating isn't about dieting. Healthy eating is something amazing that we can do that isn't restricted and can actually be quite enjoyable. So I mastered it, and that's what got me into a great place. My energy started, I would say it was probably, oh my goodness, I was pretty bad though. I had adrenal fatigue. So I would say it's probably 100 times better than it was. And my clients love it because they didn't realize how easy it could actually be and how much more freedom they have. They just feel less stressed around food. So balanced eating is basically something that's without restriction, in a way. It's not if it fits your macros, it's just a balance, and that could be different for everyone. So what I do is I work with people to try to find what their system is and what foods are their high energy foods, because first and foremost, you cannot move forward unless you find out what foods are your foods. And with diets, I always have people coming and they expect me to give them something like a diet, and that's not what I do. Because every single diet out there, every single one is scientifically backed. Everyone will say that science backs up their method. And they're right. In a way, there is a scientific reason for why it works. But if everyone is scientifically backed, then which one do I do? So you might try one, it might work or not work, and then after 2 weeks, because we lack patience when it comes to our health, we'll jump on another one. And it's so confusing. It is so confusing. And I just think go with what works. Go with what works. And that's a system you have to find out. That's not a diet. That's not something you download and follow, because when you do that, you're not trusting yourself. And you're not digging into your intuition and allowing your body to tell you what it needs and doesn't need. You need pleasure. You need pleasure, right? And that's inspiration, pleasure and inspiration, especially with food. So when I talk to women and they say, well, you know, I got to start getting healthier, but you know, that means I got to go on a diet and I got to go do this, you know, go to the gym. I hate going to the gym. And so they automatically put healthy living to something that's terrible and dreadful, and it's really not. It's really not. Food is not bad. Food is not a bad thing, and we keep saying that like, oh, I can't eat that, that's bad. Or, you know, kind of think that it's something that will totally derail you. And when you think that, it will derail you, right? So basically, it's not that food is bad, it's how we are around food that is bad. So we need to focus on the how, the why, the when, the where, and the who when we're eating, not just the what. Because I can tell you right now, I've sat down with so many clients that are eating really healthy. They're eating super healthy, and they're still not feeling any better. And it's because of how they are, who they are, why they are, where they're eating, and all that stuff. So if you restrict food, you will create a bad relationship with food. So we're all, I think most of us are entrepreneurs or career women or, you know, very driven. So if I was to tell you, you know what, you're not going to succeed in your business or your career, what are you going to do? You're going to go out and succeed in your business or career because I told you you can't. And the same goes with cookies. So if I tell you, but it's true, if I tell you as a coach, you cannot have a cookie, cookies are bad for you, stay away from cookies. If you eat a cookie, you failed. Your unconscious mind will be saying, girl, if I want a cookie, I'm gonna go get a cookie. As a matter of fact, I think I'm gonna go eat a box right now, right? Because our unconscious mind wants what we can't have. So if you keep labeling food as something bad, it's the Eve and apple story, right? We're told as women that we can't have desires and needs, so we suppress them. So we're always constantly wanting what we can't have because we're told we can't have it. So why do that with food? Why do that with food? So balanced eating equals more energy. Now, who here wouldn't like to have like an abundant amount of energy? Come on now. If your hands aren't up, you're lying. So energy, this is the great thing about aiming for a feeling. So if you eat and move to create energy, you become more productive. Yeah, you know, we all need that. We all need more productivity. More pleasure, right? Better digestion, better sleep. You become more in control of your body and your health. And that is, for me, because I was so out of control, when I started having control in my body and my health, it was a game changer for me. I looked at myself in the mirror. Now, keep in mind, I didn't use a picture of me from a competition because I think you would all fall off your chair when you saw it, so I didn't want to frighten anybody. But I got really lean, like 6% body fat type of thing. So for me, I can now look at myself in the mirror and have I don't even look at my shape. I look in my eyes and I see the greatness and uniqueness I can bring to the world. And that's the difference. So, sensual eating. Now, this isn't about whipped cream and chocolate sauce. That's a whole other summit somewhere else. So don't get too excited over there. So sensual eating is sight, smell, touch, and taste. I didn't put taste up there, but that's very important. And we actually are so consumed in our lives, and we're always rush on the go, and we don't realize our senses, that sensual eating is our senses. It's science. So in order for you to start the first stage of digestion, you need to use your senses to activate salivary enzymes in your mouth. So if you're distracted in your meal and you're not paying attention to your meal, you're not experiencing any of that, and you're not turning on stage 1 digestion. So you should be present in a meal. If you can't take an hour, so that's say 20 minutes per meal, if you can't take an hour out of your day for yourself to sit down and really be present in your meal, then you need to go through and clear the clutter on your schedule a little bit. Everyone has an hour to focus on their health and eat a meal. So you want to be present in the meal, smell it, see it, feel the texture in your mouth, taste it, and it will really incredibly improve your digestion. And that's why chefs, so they're taught this in culinary arts. They make a plate. Who's had a plate in front of them from a restaurant and where it comes down and you're like, oh boy, I can't wait to dig into that. Because it looks so good, right? So it creates this pleasure response to your food. You're now inspired by that meal because it looks amazing. You haven't even tasted it yet. You can smell it. There's candles and flowers around. Now, I know we can't always create the candle and flower on the table experience because we're busy people. It's not like we can take a little picnic basket around with us wherever we go and just like drop it on a table, but that would be great, right? Wouldn't that be funny? I'm gonna do that. Flowers, God, people would be like, but you need to at least be present in your meal so that you can turn on that stage 1. Now, talking about rushing. So if you're rushing and you're always on the go, distracted when you're eating in your car, running around while you're eating, you're turning on your fight, flight, or freeze right away. So keep in mind, your body doesn't know the difference between you rushing around or you being chased by a bear. And that may seem extreme, but your body physiologically will respond the same way. So you turn off your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest, and you're eating in a stressed state, which means you're not digesting your food properly. So you need to slow down for just 20 minutes. And speaking of 20 minutes, and why I say that, is it takes 20 minutes for your body to even register that you've eaten. So if you're eating really, really fast, have you ever noticed that you wolf down a meal really fast and you still feel hungry? So you might even keep eating, and then all of a sudden 20 minutes hits and you're stuffed. And that's because you didn't slow down and just enjoy the meal and draw it out. Chew your food 20 to 30 times. Now this is the hardest thing for my clients to do. They will come back and they will be thinking, oh, that'll be easy. And then they come back and they're like, oh my goodness, that was like the hardest thing to do. That was like, I could hear like the freaking paint drying on the, you know, like it was just like, your food turns to water. You do get used to it, trust me. But that is really important for digestion, and it's important so the salivary enzymes in your mouth can actually do something for you. And the same with protein. Chew it, because that way when it hits your stomach, your body isn't working 100 times harder to digest it. It is so, so important. So you want to create that experience. But more than anything, and this is something that I am so passionate about now, is show gratitude. Show gratitude to your meal. Because so many times I have clients say to me, if I can't have a donut, I'm going to be so deprived and restricted. And it's like, okay, you can go out and get a donut and a cookie anytime you want. They're always available to you. You are not deprived if you can't have a donut. There's people in the world that can't even have clean drinking water. So you are not deprived if you can't have that. You are blessed to have this plate of healthy, nutritious food in front of you. It's so amazing. Be grateful for that, and I can guarantee you, because it works for my clients, they have a different experience with that meal when they show gratitude. So that leaves an experience, and it creates pleasure, right? Pleasure pleasure drives habit loops. So the reason why we don't stick to our health goals is because we don't change our habits. So all these things that I've talked about are just little habit changes that will just totally change how you look at your health. So, to put it all together, you always want to know your why, and that should be a strong, inspirational why. And really, really, really dig deep there. Be your own inspiration. What do you want for yourself? It is great to be on social media and see this like woman with this amazing body, which media portrays health as a skinny, perfect woman, but that's bullshit. So don't believe that. And I want everyone to just go and really figure out what they want for themselves and what that means to them. Aim for a feeling, not a look. And this is hard. My clients struggle with this because it always goes back to weight. If they haven't reached their weight loss goal in 2 months, they're freaking out. So I have to take them back. We go back. So aim for a feeling and continuously aim for a feeling, and everything else, all those desired outcomes will just fall into place for you. And remember that healthy eating and movement are gifts to yourself, first and foremost. So now what I want you guys to do is I want you to close your eyes for a second, and I want you to think of the best, healthiest version of you. What does that look like to you? What does that feel like to you? Where are you? Who are you with? What does that best, healthiest version look like to you? Create a feeling around that. And really find that. And by now, it should be making you smile. That feeling should be making you smile. Okay, I want you to now remember that feeling, and I want you to stand up. And I want you to use that feeling in your movement. I want you to let that feeling out and shake what your mama gave you, okay? This is one of my favorite songs. I dance in my living room.